practice here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and you can really appreciate just how many red cars we've had in this Cup Series so far. I'm following 3 of them right now. Voiles, Sato, and Bracken. In fact, lots of cars with black and red paint schemes there. Okay, that's Daniel Voiles trying to get into the pits there. They're going to try to get past Agata Sato. He sends him into the wall. Agata Sato flies into the air, down the front stretch, sliding backwards, and that's the goat sideways. Oh dear, Lucas Evans pilot. Oh shit! Oh dear, what a disaster that was! Oh no, Estacio PK. Oh, more cars getting. Oh, that's just man. Oh my days, who is that? What the devil is that? Is that Sharp? Oh no! Oh, Patrick Smith, your point. Oh shit! Oh, that's the best thing I've seen. Oh man. Oh my, where do we begin? All right, I mean, let's get back. Okay, so it all starts with the 3 red cars. So, okay, Voiles is slowing down to get into the pits. That's fine. And that sort of holds up Bracken a little bit. It's not a big deal, but I mean, I think that maybe Sato wanted to get into the pits as well. Maybe not, but either way, the GOAT just diving in there and clearly just not turning left hard enough. And so he gets into Sato's car, and I mean, watch this. He impacts the safer barrier, goes up, you know, over the catch fence basically, and very little damage to the GOAT's car. Everything goes off with Lucas Evans ultimately. Lucas Evans has nowhere to go, piles into Agata Sato's car. And then Evans's car gets into PK's as well. I mean, the GOAT actually manages to escape a lot of damage there. That's impressive. But yeah, let's look at this. My voice is going already. I just woke up as well, and my hands are cold. It's so cold in here. But yeah, PK has nowhere to. Oh my days! You hear me wheezing? Crikey! One second. Oh man. To be honest, I also just watched the is it the Iceberg? The Iceberg's video about Slot Car. That was pretty hilarious. Yeah. This is being recorded on March 19th and probably won't come out for until a month after that. I might end up expediting the schedule. That's probably some announcement I should have made, like, you know, in a video for March, but whatever. It's been on my mind lately. Anyways, yeah, PK has nowhere to go. Neither does Jenkins. Spurley escapes rather miraculously. Yeah, the GOAT. And, okay, so you have cars here trying to escape right there. Langestein gets a touch of Sato's car. Obviously didn't do a good enough job of avoiding that pile up there. And, yeah, Evans's car finally comes to rest over here. Okay. As mentioned, there's Langestein. How about Hicks? I believe Hicks gets caught up into this. She avoids it. Charlebois does not. Charlebois gets into Sato's car. And check this out. That is not conducive to good lap times here around Lowe's Motor Speedway. And yeah, he gets pile drive by someone else. I believe it might have been Smith, in fact, because there's Smith's car right there. And yeah, you can see the adoring. Yeah, Charlebois flew so far that he came to rest on that inside pit road wall. I feel like there's some objects missing there. I can't even change that right now. Hold on. So let's look at you. I feel like there are objects missing there. Or is that what it's supposed to look like? Are there objects missing? Surely not. Hold on. Are there... Okay, well, the trailers on the inside of... in the infield is... that's the word I'm trying to use here. So, okay. Is that... I mean, yeah. I mean, just look at this. And somehow the GOAT able to avoid all of this carnage. Rather miraculous with that. There goes Charlebois' car. Oh, what a disaster. And okay, maybe Hicks didn't avoid it. Johnson rams into Evans's car, goes spinning around as Charlebois' car slide through. Okay? Yeah, Johnson goes spinning, and then, I don't know, at some point Pepper gets caught up in something. Yeah, Pepper gets into Johnson's car. He goes spinning. There's Langestein smoking on the inside there already. And then, yeah, Patrick Smith piles into Charlebois' car, and Trickle gets collected as well. And then Özkan hits Smith's car as well. Jaina Fogelman and Gil Samaya get caught up there. Taiki was in the mix as well. Man, we're 6 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to the race. That was, again, the best thing I've ever seen. We'll take a look at the GOAT's perspective here, because the GOAT somehow, rather unfortunately, depending on your opinion of him, avoided all of this carnage that he started. So he's a real karma Houdini, I tell you what. I mean, look at this. He's sideways. Both Evans and Sato's cars even, they they don't run into the GOATs. I mean, look at this. Yeah, the GOAT just... Look at Charlebois' car. It's like unbelievable. But yeah, the GOAT just waiting on the front stretch, and then he's going to cut across the grass. And, Shadowvault had a good chance of running into him. But yeah, there he goes. Just goes into his pit stall there. Repair that damage, get some tires and fuel. Good stuff. Good for him. Alright, we'll get to the race now. Hello everyone, it's Hanafuda and welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina for the UAW GM Quality 500, 84 laps around this quad oval, one of my favorite tracks. I blew my engine here at the Coca-Cola 600, and obviously I want to improve on that somehow. But you saw that crash in practice. That was a real doozy. That, again, that's just one of the best things I've ever seen in NASCAR Racing 2003 season. And I say that despite immediately looking back at it in my head right now and thinking, it's pretty tame by comparison. I'm sure that there's some crash compilations from 12 years ago or so that could improve heavily on the idea of a practice crash, a string of crashes in practice at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Who knows? People was trying to do reenactments and stuff like this. Only happens once in a lifetime, really, so you have to take advantage and take 7 minutes in the intro to just relive it in all its glory. So, we got Lucas Evans on pole alongside Eli Wolf. We have Steve Morgan and Mathis Wells, Max Davis and Annie Thomas. Eric Monaco, one of your championship contenders, starts alongside Lionel Austin here. Got Gil Samai and Chris Harvey to round out the top 10 in your starting lineup. Goat starts 11th alongside Matthew Burnett. There's Gerald Pepper and Daniel Voiles. Ashley Shaunavod alongside Patrick Smith, your points leader. Joey Trickle, and starting behind is Smith, of course, Bracken, who is third in the points right now. We got White and Cropley. We got Hicks and PK, Lego, Abrahamian, Flobo, Whitlock, Zane, Jana Fogelman, Spurley, Charlebois, Langestein, Sato Jenkins, Franco, Taiki Johnson, Reggie Fogelman, Sal, and rounding out the field, Samet Özkan and Joe Allen. So, I think this is the last of the races this season that's sponsored by a manufacturer. Of course, GM owns both Chevrolet and Pontiac. Of course, Pontiac doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. It's a sad day, it's like Pontiac's non-existence is as sad as the, non-existence of, physical store locations for Toys R Us, Radio Shack, Circuit City, the Kmart, the things of our childhoods, like those were givens when I was a kid, and I never imagined that they'd end up going away. Of course, fries can, rot in hell, but yeah. Actually, you know what? There were so many times when I drove by Fry's on the way to school, and didn't even realize that it had actually closed down for good. Eventually, like they took down the stuff on the facade, pulled down the letters, they draped over the sign, and yeah, I always wanted to I always kind of wanted to go back there again, and I missed my chance. I feel like the only time I ever went there was like when I was 7 or 8. I was in there with my dad. I don't even know what he was going there to get. But back in 2007, 2008, 2009, it was probably, still the era of crappy customer service and impossible returns. More importantly, let's see some UAW GM quality today. Green flag is out. We are underway at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And in your top 5 here so far, there are 5 GM cars there. 1 Pontiac, leading 4 Chevys. There's 3 wide in the background. More Chevys there. Max Davis, the odd one out, along with Eric Monaco, who runs behind him. But look at that. The GOAT jumping from 11th to 5th. Has the green flag waved. Start lap 1 here. Here he is right behind the DEI car of Andy Thomas there. Lionel Austin up at the 6th now, ahead of Chris Harvey. Gil Samaya dukes it out with Mathis Wells. I think that Max Davis rounds out your top 10 at present there. It's Gerald Pepper in something. Pretty sure his positions will get updated eventually. The GOAT falling behind Andy Thomas now, clearly not having the best line through turns 1 and 2. Oh, we're in a caution. That's right. Wagon Ritlock. Yeah, Wagon Ritlock. I totally got that right. Wagon Ritlock in turn 3. Got sent into the wall by Bob and Flo, but Flo would go spinning there as well. That's something caution on lap 1. That may very well be a tone setter. Okay. Well, anyways, when we restart, your top 10 will be Evans, Wolf, Morgan, Thomas, the GOAT, Austin, Harvey, Samaya, Wells, and Davis. Behind them, we'll have Pepper, Smith, Bracken, Monaco, Burnett, White, Voiles, Shadowall, Trickle, and PK. So, only 1 lap in, and both Evernham cars now find themselves behind Patrick Smith there. The gap between Smith and Monaco just continues to decrease race after race, because Monaco's been able to put in some better performances than Smith. There was a point where, like, just within the past 10 races, Smith's lead was up to 333 points. Now it's down to 17, I believe. So, finishing ahead of Eric Monaco, of course, will definitely guarantee him just a little bit of extra leeway in that gap, a little bit more slack in the rope. But it's not really a given just yet. There will be 5 races left in the season after this one, and lots could happen. But yeah, Patrick Smith really needs to just keep his head, keep his cool. Bracken and Monaco need to fight all out if they want to overtake him in the point standings. You have to remember that they have threats as well to their own dominance from drivers such as the GOAT and Gil Samaya, for example. Possibly Evans as well, who leads the field once again as we begin lap 5 of Lowe's Motor Speedway's UAW GM Quality 500. We're back underway. I managed to save it there because I was about to make myself sound like a complete idiot with yet another Murrayism. Might as well be called an Araujoism because, yeah. The GOAT up into 4th place there on the restart, getting past Danny Thomas without much issue here. So let's take stock of how many GM cars we have here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the top 10, there are 9 GM cars there. Gerald Pepper gets past Gil Samaya, and Patrick Smith is looking good to overtake S.p.A as well. There you got the two Evernham cars running side by side through turns 1 and 2. Monaco on the inside, Bracken on the outside, stuck behind S.p.A there. Meanwhile, the GOAT, definitely making things look interesting here. Evans under pressure from Eli Wolf. He gets support from Steve Morgan. Here's the other GM, Goodwrench Chevy. The GOAT following right behind. Andy Thomas has not bowed out of it entirely. Lyle Austin could very well catch him at a moment's notice here. Yet Thomas still there, trying to get herself involved in the mix there. Oh dear, things are looking extremely hairy for the GOAT there. He's going to back out a little bit. Get past Andy Thomas once again. Tries to take the Hyde line. I don't know. Oh dear, that's the GOAT making contact with Lucas Evans. Setting him into the wall there. That could have been another disaster. Let's just take a look at that real fast. Yeah. Evans' car quite clearly sideways there. Definitely not, the GOAT definitely not endearing himself to Lucas Evans. Certainly a championship rival for sure, but the GOAT's going to have to back off on that one from now. Andy Thomas was able to get past both the GOAT and Evans, and now Evans falling behind. Likely suffered a little bit of damage to that right side of the car. They go back into 4th place here. Here's Lyle Austin, under pressure from Chris Harvey. Both of them flying into turn 1. Lucas Evans right in front there. Max Davis runs 8th ahead of Mathis Wells and Gerald Pepper. Smith's just outside the top 10, ahead of Eric Monaco. As you can see, Bracken has lost position to both Burnett and S.p.A. Meanwhile, Evans about to lose position to Austin and possibly Harvey as well. They're trying to catch up here, but yeah, your new race leader, Eli Wolf, right ahead of Steve Morgan and the GOAT. Is that the 3rd? Okay. Oh, man. I'm still reeling from that excitement in practice, which was actually filmed like 3 days ago, maybe. Well, actually, no. What I mean is, I drove it 3 days ago, and I didn't drive the race till yesterday because I was busy with work. Unfortunately, I just did not have the. That's a bad line from the GOAT through turn 4, and that's going to be a little bit of a theme here, I think. Man. It's going to take a while for me to find the groove here. We have 5 GM cars in the top 5 here. 4 Chevys and a Pontiac of Lucas Evans. Lyle Austin, another Pontiac, runs 6th, and then we have Max Davis in the Dodge, runs 7th here. Harvey, Wells, and Smith round out your top 10 as Pepper loses to both Monaco and possibly Bracken as well. There's Samai obviously not doing a very good job there as well. Shadowveld and Burnett falling behind as well. Did not see any of that because we were too busy. I was too busy coughing and hacking, trying to clear my throat. Because yeah, things got exceptionally exciting in practice, and again, I still need to recover. You heard me wheezing. Damn. I really wish that wouldn't happen, but yeah, things really spacing out here in this race so far already. Goat has a good gap to Andy Thomas behind. Trying to catch Morgan and Wolf, obviously, but with the drafting support, could very well be. Oh, look at this. The GOAT, once again, appears to be faster through the turns than on the straights. Look at that. Morgan already up to 188. The GOAT only making 183 at the same time. 194 into the turn there. The GOAT not managing anywhere near that, but definitely carrying more speed. Meanwhile, here comes Morgan on the inside. Wolf left the door open. And Morgan's going to take advantage here. The GOAT continues to fend off Thomas and Evans. They're going to be a constant presence in his rearview mirror and right on his rear bumper for a while. Eli Wolf leads another lap of the UAW GM Quality 500. Hasn't been very often that we've seen Eli Wolf leading a race here. And he fell very gradually with a string of not so great performances. Not really been up there ever since the start of the season, where he was up at the top of the field. Obviously, Shadowveld was your first points leader. My dad just sent me an ominous oops. Here comes more. Oh dear, look at that. The GOAT dumping onto the. Dumping? Sort of jumping on and off the apron there. But meanwhile, Morgan continuing to try to get past Eli Wolf here. Will he have the move done through turn 3? Goat right behind. Remember his fellow GM Goodwrench Chevy. Got two black GM Goodwrench Chevys leading the field here. Morgan and the Goat both ahead of Eli Wolf here. Annie Thomas and Lucas Evans liable to catch up. Oh. Let's see. Oh, I see. It's because Fulham scored against Fulham. Fulham scored against Man U. Too much complacency and too many wankers in the squad. That's my dad for you. Well, anyways, yeah, Morgan leads rather comfortably from the Goat for now, but obviously the Goat is going to come charging at Steve Morgan anytime soon. It feels like my voice has changed because, oh man, what is this? Whatever. Max Davis up at the 6th there. Lyle Austin floundering, falling down to 9th, possibly 10th it looks like, because here's Wells and Harvey, the two Joe Gibbs cars running 7th and 8th. 8th and 7th, that is. But yeah, Max Davis now catching up to Lucas Evans. Max Davis, the Dodge driver here, definitely putting the moves on the GM quality drivers. I mean, yeah, GM car drivers. Quality. Perhaps it's not the best sort of noun to describe the Goat here. Goat riding the rear bumper of Steve Morgan out of turn 4 there. Tipping a little bit of the tires onto the grass. Down the front stretch here. Into turn 1. Continuing to follow behind, trying to glue himself to that rear bumper. He's beginning to eke out a bit of a gap to Eli Wolf behind, but he's, again, going to be a constant presence in his mirror, keeping him honest and ready to pounce should the Goat make a mistake. Which he doesn't seem to be doing right now. Down the front stretch here, Steve Morgan leads another lap. Goat has a little bit of space on the inside. Morgan faster into turn 1 there. That's the Goat on the inside. Steaming by, that slamming stuff overtakes of the week. The Goat into the race lead here. Morgan gets left in the dust. Now Eli Wolf is looking at his rear bumper. Another GM Goodwrench Chevy, but possibly one that's a bit riper for overtaking here. Annie Thomas still runs 4th ahead of Lucas Evans and Max Davis, but the Goat leads lap 20. And coming up on 25% of the race distance here. Things just blazing by this race. Remains to be seen how long the Goat can maintain this lead. Remember, yeah, I remember now. I did a really bad job of avoiding a crash. It damaged my engine, and then I ended up blowing it. Seemed a bit of an inevitability, given the engine. No, that's the Goat just driving for the infield grass, showing off, as I believe he did at the Coca-Cola 600. But yeah, honestly, the Goat is like just mashing down that gas pedal, really driving his car as hard as he can. And obviously the threat of some sort of engine failure, something in the car giving up on him as he tries to push it. Little's in the balance here. Ever-present threat, and that's Eli Wolf making a move on Steve Morgan here, side by side, out of turn 2. Down the back stretch here. Oh, that's a very good view. I bet those tickets cost a good amount of money. Eli Wolf has the inside line through turns 3 and 4 here. I think he's going to have the position. Annie Thomas, having caught up to Steve Morgan, could well be on for 4th place here. 3rd, that is. I can't math or see. Whatever. I'm just still reeling from everything else that was going down during this race. But that's Eli Wolf up into 2nd. Steve Morgan 3rd. Annie Thomas 4th. Max Davis has been able to dispatch Lucas Evans. They're 5th here. We'll run through the rest of the order here. Harvey and Wells run 7th and 8th. Harvey could have 7th from his teammate. Austin, Smith, Bracken, and Monaco up there around the 10th to 13th place positions. Samaya runs 13th, in fact. But yeah, we're seeing your championship top 3 together in the field, duking it out. Remains to be seen Smith flying ahead of the 2 Evernham cars for now. But definitely very bunched up here a few other drivers, some of whom are still in the championship running as well. Harvey and Samaya among them, I believe. Pepper, unfortunately, isn't. Trickle, I think he's in the top 10 somewhere. He runs 15th behind Pepper there. Samaya trying to get a move done on Eric Monaco soon. Shaunavald, your Daytona 500 winner, runs 16th. Matthew Burnett, 17th. Teammate for Lego, 18th. Voiles and PK ran out your top 20. Bottom 20 here, we got Cropley, White, Zane, Charlebois, Hicks, Tyke, Spurley, Reggie Fogelman, Ibrahimian, Santo, Jana Fogelman, Özkan, Langestein, Alan Flobo, Jenkins, Franco, Whitlock, Sallin, and Rocky Johnson. So, the two Richard Petty Enterprises cars unfortunately running last in this race. Whitlock able to get her way up to 38th here, despite being involved in that crash on lap 1. Bob and Flobo up to 35th. I believe both of these drivers would have started at the back of the field, of course. So they managed to make up a few positions here, which is all well and good. But meanwhile, we've got Andy Thomas trying to get past Steve Morgan. As mentioned, we're third place here. We start lap 28. Continuing to eke out that gap between himself and Eli Wolf here. Take a look at your lap times. Patrick Smith has the fastest of the session with 29.354. Goat for 29.375. Steve Morgan 4/10 behind. Smith and Austin have identical lap times there. And then, as you can see, Samaya, Pepper, and Wells. Pepper and Wells' times being the same. All have sub 29.4 lap times. Monaco and Brackett, the two Evernham cars, with 29.4s there. Burnett and Wolf have the same lap times, seemingly indicating similar levels of pace in this race here. Thomas, who runs 4th, has the 13th fastest lap. Then it's Lego, Shaunavald, Evans, Trickle, White, Cropley, and Harvey. Slowest car out on track appears to be Leroy Jenkins, but everybody has a fastest lap under 30 seconds. The cars, meanwhile, beginning to lap just over 30 seconds. We go for 29.7 last lap compared to Wolf's 30.5. Obviously, all the cars showing effects of tire wear here. Of course, a fuel stop is needed in this race as well. Those tires will definitely get chewed up if they're not changed by the end of the race. Steve Morgan coming back at Eli Wolf here. Andy Thomas backing off for now. Might not be able to catch up until the round of pit stops, which are on track to be held under green flag conditions as we approach the halfway point of this race here. As mentioned, things definitely quieting down. Smith is still ahead of the two Evernham cars. Here goes Trickle past Gerald Pepper, 14th. Sato and Özkan fighting for 30th. Özkan is likely to have the better of that fight. Remember, he started last in this race, or at least on the back row, alongside Montero Sound, who actually runs the last. Notice that a lot of the people at the back of the field have been Dodge cars, also Fords as well. You need only look at the Chip Ganassi cars, for example, who usually are in the mid to back of the field. Yeah, just did not have a very good season at all. I don't believe any of them are in the top 20, and I believe most of them, in fact, are closer to the bottom 10 or in the bottom 10. Whitlock is definitely one of the people running last in the standings. I believe that Whitlock has not even had a single top 10 this season, and even some of the peers around who usually hang out at the back of the field have at least one, maybe two, but yeah. For Sallin and Johnson, it's just been a forgettable season. Franco, much of the same, running near the back of the field constantly in these races. Jenkins, again, another disappointment. Flobo, Jada Fogelman, for example, could have definitely made more of their seasons. It just did not have a good time around. Joe Allen, every once in a while, comes to shine, puts in a good race after a good qualifying session, but we usually see him at the back of the pack. Hey Joe, what you doing? Being a back marker. It's just sad. Harry Langestein has also had a few bursts of activity at the top of the field. Remember, of course, the Aaron's 499, for example. Actually, I believe Pocono, he was running up at the top of the field, but here he is at the back once again. along with Agata Sato, who despite running a Hendrick Motorsports car, has also just not had a very good season. Some Özkan's definitely been up and down like a sine wave, and unfortunately right now he's within the negative part of that, the second half of the oscillation period. Ibrahimian, again, as mentioned before, the Robert Yates racing cars have just not had a very good season. Ibrahimian has been super notable, especially in previous races where, being a lap down, he starts in the inside line after a caution and ends up causing mayhem and just problems in general for the leaders on the outside line. Yeah, this has turned into another sort of roast session here, but as mentioned, things have definitely quieted down here. See, Wolf, Morgan, Thomas, these 3 cars here running second, third, and fourth, still banding very close together. Max Davis has caught up to them. He runs fifth, as mentioned. The GOAT is continuing to increase that gap there. That's quite surprising, actually. Let's take a look at his rear camera. You can appreciate the gap that he's managed to build. It's Eli and Wolf already. 4 seconds, nothing too substantial compared to the domination job we saw at Kansas, for example. Even Kansas was a bit of a challenge for the GOAT in some sense. Las Vegas and California were super easy for him. And Kansas, despite being something of a pastiche of Las Vegas, depending on which one was built first, it was not exactly a walk in the park. Definitely came under some pressure there, but yeah, Las Vegas was just the best thing ever. I think we're about to look at one of my best races ever. GOAT catching up to the previously mentioned back markers here. Going a little bit of a wall down the backstretch. It might cause a little bit of problems for him. Franco certainly does. Driving very slowly through turns 3 and 4 there. He's going to hold up the GOAT. But oh dear, that's the GOAT sending him into the wall. And Johnson got into his rear bumper. That could have been very hairy there. Potential to bring out a second caution of the day. 3 wide at these 3 Dodge cars at the back of the field. There's something poetic about that, but now the GOAT has a nice wall of 4 cars separating him from the pack in the rest of the top 5. Appear to be single filing out, but still, because a few problems provide a decent enough obstacle for Wolf, Morgan, Thomas, and Davis should they ever catch up, which might occur if the GOAT begins to lose traction on those tires, which he's definitely been pushing hard as he likes. Coming up on the halfway point of this race, Leroy Jenkins is next. Well, we weren't paying attention, but both Evernham cars potentially passed Patrick Smith now, and Smith theoretically would still be leading them, given their current positions and the points he's scoring them right now. But yeah, Patrick Smith losing position to Monaco. They're bracketing up into the top 10 ahead of Wells and Harvey, the 2 Joe Gibbs cars. Lyle Austin, who's out of the championship running, clearly did not get the memo and is running 7th here, which is pretty good. I think he was up into 6th at some point, maybe even as high as 5th, I forget. I believe he definitely started up higher in the field. In fact, yeah, he started in the 3rd row? I don't know. Oh, all I remember is that I started behind Harvey. I don't even remember who was on pole. Evans. How did they pull for Evans? How about that? That was stuffed up. Well, I guess that game's probably over. Man, you clearly just running at second stringers, but to be fair, sometimes it's first stringers just don't show up. They don't perform. As predicted here, Wolf coming up on these 4 back markers that the GOAT was able to get past. But too much problem here, and that leaves the door open for Steve Morgan to try to get the move done. Get himself back into second here. Looks like he's going to be able to accomplish that. Franco coming into the pits now. Might start to see our first round of pit stops here. Franco, the first of the drivers, come to the pits. Of course, he's running at the back of the field, and he possibly hopes that This early pit stop might help him gain some positions in time. Who knows? What a quaint consideration, but as you can see, Wolf holding up Davis here, and Thomas could very well have the third spot that she's so seriously desired, coveted. Not train thought. I mean, Thomas was looking good for third place for a while there, but she's not going to be able to get the move done. Wolf is going to hold in that position. Thomas to file back into fourth here, unless Davis has something to say about it. Doesn't appear to for now. But meanwhile, as for the GOAT, he is past Leroy Jenkins as well. Bob and Flo and Jana Fogelman next up on the so-called chopping block that we refer to every once in a while. Now, positions reversed here. Morgan now stuck behind the back markers here. Wolf able to come back into second. Thomas still unable to make a move. Wolf beats Morgan to the line. So, as mentioned, these back markers here are definitely going to cause lots of trouble for these the rest of the drivers here. Taking a look at your pit lane camera. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Certainly the rest of the top 5 here likely be among the first drivers into the pits. That's definitely going to signal, of course, that it'll be time enough for the leader of the race to come in as well. And as advertised, Wolf comes into the pits here, followed by Evans. A few drivers staying out for now. Notably Smith there. 3 wide of Pepper, Samaya, and Harvey. Sato comes into the pits after being lapped by the GOAT. Allen is next. We'll look at Wolf and Evans here in pit road. You can see a few more pit crews getting ready. Wolf able to get out in front of Evans. It seemed like a fait accompli, but here's Morgan and Davis into the pits along with Thomas. More cars coming in. Austin, Bracken, Monaco, Wells, Smith, Trickle, Pepper, Samaya, Futlego, Shadavold, Burnett, PK, Voiles, and oh crap, I forgot. But anyways, Samaya getting into Pepper's cars, but the GOAT staying out notably here. Sato comes out of the pits. We'll have a look at this fight on pit road. See how things go here. I believe that's Salen out. Morgan ahead of Davis. There's Thomas. Bracken, Austin. Morgan, Trickle, Smith, Lego, Wells, Pepper, Samaya, Shadavold, Reggie Fogelman, PK, Özkan, Cropley, Burnett. Oh crap! I messed that up. Bummer. More importantly, the GOAT still has not come into the pits there. Harvey's in as well right now. But where is the GOAT? There he is, getting past Eric Monaco, who's just exited the pits. The whole field appears to be a lap down right now. But that's the GOAT onto the apron, slowing up in front of Eric Monaco. That could have been a disaster, but here he comes into the pits for his pit stop here, and it remains to be seen how much of a gap he'll be able to continue to hold on, I believe, Eli Wolf. I believe Eli Wolf will eventually be scored as running second in this race. He was going to get 4 tires and 1 can of fuel, enough to make it to the end of the race. It's a 15.3 second pit stop for the GOAT. And all eyes will indeed be on Wolf there. Is scored a second lap down, but obviously a lot of the field have been able to unlap themselves as the GOAT stood in the pits there. There's Harvey, Shadavold, and PK around the GOAT. Samaya, Wells, Özkan, and Reggie Fogelman as well. There are Cropley and Charlebois, those drivers that we didn't mention earlier. But okay, where's Wolf? Where's Wolf? Only in turn 1. The GOAT has a whole host of cars between himself and Eli Wolf now. He's going to start lap 53 with a very comfortable lead on second place. Eli Wolf there. As you can see, Davis was one of the big winners in the battle off pit road. Morgan falling to 4th. Behind Wolf and Davis, of course. Evans ahead of Annie Thomas now. She's one of the big losers there. But more importantly, Bracken and Monaco once again ahead of Patrick Smith, their main championship rival, the championship leader, points leader at this juncture, point, time, space, Star Wars. 31 laps to go for the GOAT, who's really dominated the latter half of this race here. Has been leading for quite a while. And, well, again, random engine failures could strike at any moment. We need to take a commercial break here. I know how much you guys love that. And obviously it's going to be a lot of fun for me to try to find another commercial that I find really funny to share with you lot. So, see about that.
Dale, you help me get down to Danbury?
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second here.
It's pretty easy. You get out on the main road here. You go straight about half a mile, maybe a little less, and take a left. Follow that, straight another half a mile. And then you take a hard left, right? And then you go straight a half a mile, take another left. Yeah, that's right, man. You just keep on that.
Thanks, Dale. Appreciate it.
All right, man, no problem. Anytime. Oh, John, the directions.
All right, we are back. The GOAT coming up on more lapped cars here. In fact, take a look at your running order in the sideboard here. As you can see, Anthony Charlebois is running 20th. Özkan already a lap down, I believe. Has to be lapped for the second time. No, it's 21st. 20th, whatever. We got the GOAT moving up in here into the top 20. My dad asks how the race is, despite the fact that I can't watch it because we don't have ESPN. Okay. Perez 1, Verstappen 2nd, Alonso 3rd. Alonso is on fire. How did he do last time? He finished 3rd that time again. Yeah. Bahrain, Verstappen, Perez, and Alonso. Now Saudi Arabia, Perez, Verstappen, and Alonso. Crazy. Red Bull's on fire, but honestly, like Alonso still got it. What can you say? Again, this video probably comes out a month after recording. Today's March 19th, so the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix just took place today, along with the Manchester United Fulham game. Quarterfinal of the FA Cup, I think, that I mentioned previously. So yeah, Man U won 3-1. Cool. Look at your lap time. So as you can see, Bracken, Harvey, Morgan. Bracken, Harvey, and Morgan just barely edging out Patrick Smith's original fastest lap there, and Evans between Smith and the GOAT. Then Davis, Austin, Samaya, and Pepper also putting in those fast laps. The GOAT's last lap was a 29.6. We go back to Eli Wolf here. Probably across the line at this point. It's a 29.5. 29.5 for Max Davis as well, sort of lapping a little bit faster than the GOAT here. Ditto with Morgan. Evans with 29.7, so a little bit slower. Same with Andy Thomas, 29.8. In fact, these drivers might actually be closing the gap ever so slightly, but as mentioned, there are a lot of lapped cars separating them from the GOAT. The GOAT has a very large cushion here at present. Even if he were to spin out, probably be able to save it. Who knows? Not sure. Caution would come out for sure, probably. We got 24 laps to go. It'll be 23 now when the GOAT crosses the line. And, well, this race has been nowhere near the banger that we saw in practice. That was extremely exciting. That was crazy as hell. It was super fun. And, yeah, as mentioned, I took up 6 minutes. It's actually 7, I think. Showing you pretty much everything that happened. So, yeah, happy days. We're about to get past Stasio PK here, who runs 16th. Of course, Eli Wolf runs 2nd, so you again hope to see PK running 3rd with the Wolf. I was about to say, to be honest, yeah, the Wolf and the GOAT, and then you have the Max as well. The Max, yeah, return of the Max. Made that joke already, but yeah. And then you've got the Morgan, the Evans. Yeah. Goat gets past the Stassi Peak without much issue, but I mean, look at that. They were lapping very similarly, actually. So the Goat really only just getting past. A lot of these cars, in fact, could potentially be driving a little bit faster than the Goat here. Franco for 30.3, obviously much slower than the Goat's 29.7 here. And Matt DeSwells was slightly slower, 29.7 on the last lap, but yeah. Again, the Goat is just looking much faster through the turns here. You can probably hear my dog barking in the background. It's about to be 20 laps to go in the UAW GM Quality 500. My parents and sister are home with the groceries, and they probably want me to go help them out, which likely means they'll have to go on commercial once again. And that's extra work for me. Not sure how much I appreciate it. Jeez, my mom's on the phone. Goat just wheeling that car like a beast today. Franco actually slowing up some of these people here who have been put one lap down. And Franco is, yeah, the only car 2 laps down. We saw this at Dover, of course. Franco, the slowest car at Dover. And at the, oh dear, I think Peike was nearly about to turn into him there. Yeah, turn him around, that is, but seems to have separated out nicely. Things nice and tidy here. Gerald Pepper, who runs 14th, is next. Guess we'll take a look real fast at your running order. 18 laps to go for the Goat. Leads this race. Way back here, Eli Wolf runs second ahead of Max Davis, who's actually lapping a little bit faster here. So we'll actually just run through the running order to the sideboard here and have a look here at Max Davis, because he's showing a lot of pace here, and he could be on to go for second place. On Eli Wolf, Steve Morgan runs 4th and is well behind the rest of those drivers there. We got Bracken, Evans, Thomas here. Those are 5th, 6th, and 7th. So yeah, things have calmed down as far as Davis is concerned. So we'll go back. Yeah, as mentioned, Morgan, Bracken, Evans, Thomas. Monaco, Austin, and Smith round out your top 10. So again, the 2 Evernham cars run ahead of Patrick Smith, but all of them are in the top 10. So that's still going to be a very good points grab. All those drivers there. 11th is Joey Trickle, Harvey 12th, Lego 13th, here's Pepper 14th as mentioned. About to be lapped by the Goats. There's Reggie Fogelman, Summit Uskan, Mathis Wells, Stasio PK, Anthony Charlebois, Matthew Burnett to round out your top 20. Samaya definitely falling behind. He started ahead of the Goat actually in this race, but now he's down in 21st, so obviously not having a very good day. 2 Roush cars here, Tanky and Cropley. Here are Zane and Schadewald. Voiles, Sato, Allen, Spurley. There's Flobo, Langestein, White, Hicks, Jenkins, Jana Fogelman, Abrahamian. Circling back around once again, Sallin 37th, Whitlock 38th, Johnson 39th, and running last as mentioned is Franco. 2 laps down. 14 laps to go. Just going to take the liberty of closing the door. Liberty taken. Yes. I really was hoping that this race would be a complete cracker. I don't think I actually said it at the beginning of this race. I don't know about you, but I think this one's shaping up to cracker. Well, to be a cracker. Well, it's not exactly shaped out like the cracker that we were envisioning, I don't think, because well, really it's just looking like another domination job for the Goat. Not again, to emphasize, as we have previously, it's not the job we saw from the Goat in Las Vegas, California, or Kansas, where he led from pole, led every single lap, and lapped the whole field. But it's looking more like a Martinsville or Michigan situation, where the Goat didn't start from pole and lead every lap, but did eventually manage to find his way up at the top of the field and proceeded to run away thereafter with the race win here. Notice that the Goat still hasn't actually lapped Gerald Pepper here, but now Gerald Pepper's being held up by Rocky Johnson. It's about to be the second car put down 32 laps in this UAW GM Quality 500. And how about this? And we're finally on to see a race where the manufacturer sponsoring the race is actually going to victory lane. Of course, a Chevy won the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. A Ford won the Pontiac Excitement 400. I think a Dodge won the Chevy Rock and Roll 400, maybe? Forget. Isn't there a race called the Chevy Monte Carlo something? Forget. But yeah, the Dodge Save Mark 350 was also won by Chevy, of course. And, well, actually what remains to be seen, of course, is the season finale. The Ford 400, that's the GOAT just sending Trickle off the racetrack. That could have been a real disaster there. Trickle was at liberty. Liberty's a word we've been using quite a lot here. To come back and spin the GOAT out without having to fear very many repercussions besides the GOAT potentially taking revenge on him in the worst possible way next race, because these things always police themselves. You have to understand. Again, things have not really changed in the rest of the field. It's all been extremely quiet here. Perhaps another moment for me to talk about my personal life or whatever, but yeah, we're not really having that right now. Wolf still runs second. Davis was trying to get into second. Now he's struggling for third here with Steve Morgan, who's managed to catch up to him. Brackett still runs fifth with quite a gap. Thomas has been able to overtake Lucas Evans for sixth spot there. Monica runs eighth ahead of Austin and Smith. As mentioned, things really spacing out here. Yeah, as you can see, Davis has been able to defend third place from Steve Morgan for now. And once again, coming up very quickly on Eli Wolf's rear bumper. Jana Fogelman not causing very many problems for the drivers running second, 34th so far. But Jenkins, who runs 34th in this race, might very well do that. Not seeing any exciting battles for position. It was sort of like that at the beginning of this race, but yeah, after the first quarter, basically, things really petered out. At our pit stops, whole field got separated, and yeah, it seems as if no one has a chance in hell of catching the GOAT at this point, barring, of course, a serious mistake or some engine failure of some kind. Obviously, the GOAT is not immune to those, as we've seen this season. In fact, it's been on the quad ovals where the GOAT has had the most torrid times. Texas, Atlanta, and Lowe's, of course. Previous Lowe's race, the Coca-Cola 600. He did well at the All-Star race, finishing second, nearly managing to take the win from Gil Samaya, but unable to deliver at the end of the day. Davis, of course, won the AAA shootout here, and is once again running very well. They've all driven a great race, these drivers at the top of the field here. Also managing to stick with each other and not give up. Davis clearly not giving up on trying to take second here from Eli Wolf. It's the principle of the matter, finishing ahead of these drivers here. I think most people might just be content to settle into their final finishing positions. But 5 points at this point could very well be 5 points. Could really make or break the difference, especially considering that Patrick Smith and Eric Monaco are so close together in the point standings. Smith is lapped down. Smith has been lapped by the GOAT, actually. Where is that? Where is Smith? Smith and Harvey, perhaps, as well? Yeah, the GOAT has passed all of them. He's passed Austin, as mentioned. So, Patrick Smith, your points leader, has been lapped by the GOAT. GOAT will have 2 laps to go once he crosses the line, so he's not going to end up lapping the whole field, but obviously he's definitely within range. And as you can see, we're following Max Davis, trying to get past Eli Wolf, but unfortunately it seems that while we weren't paying attention, because we were too busy focusing on the GOAT, as usual, Max Davis has lost third place to Steve Morgan there, and that's going to be a vital extra 5 points for Steve Morgan. I don't believe Max Davis has led a lap this race, but both Wolf and Morgan have. So, yeah, that's not going to do great wonders for Davis here. Again, he needs to scoop up all the points that he can, and he could definitely content himself with 4th here. But yeah, definitely going to be disappointed with himself coming home behind Wolf and Morgan. 2 very strong cars. 2 Chevy Monte Carlos up there. Goat is on the final lap here. The white flag is out already. Well, we weren't paying attention, so we were not focusing on the Goat for once here, but again, he's just drove in an absolutely exciting race, and that's the Goat taking the checkered flag for GM at the UAW GM Quality 500, doing a little bit of theatrics, crossing the line there. Harvey could have easily just ended his little display of fun, but yeah, absolutely excellent race from the Goat there. Led most of the laps today, never looked in doubt. Obviously, I sort of sowed the seeds of doubt and suspicion. This man could have very easily blown his engine once again at a quad oval. But nope, he managed to hold together. That car performed beautifully and stayed in tip-top shape the whole way around. Goat managed to get the most out of it, and well, how about that? I drove a great race in a great car, and I'm going to make damn sure that Rocky Johnson does not pile into me once again. For some reason, Rocky Johnson is about to see fit to drive an extra lap of the racetrack. Oh, no, she hasn't. Okay, so that means we missed my donuts then. Yeah, my intention was definitely to do that, because that was my cooldown lap after. But yeah, definitely wanted to make sure that Rocky Johnson was not going to drive down the front stretch again and pile into me. I believe she did end up doing basically an extra lap, which obviously is what I do, because yeah, a little nice cooldown lap instead of just going straight into the pits, which is what most of the AI usually does, but Johnson didn't do at Kansas for some reason. But anyways, whatever, gonna do some donuts. Not very great donuts, but whatever. And then my Polish victory lap. Very nice. Had plenty of fuel, unlike at Michigan and Kansas. That wasn't a problem either. And there we go. That's the race over. Goat wins today after starting 11th, led 65 out of 84 laps, gets the full 185 points. Eli Wolf and Steve Morgan started and finished 2nd and 3rd respectively. I bet they'll be very pleased with that. Max Davis up to 4th from 6th today, but he definitely could have had 2nd, and he's definitely going to be hoping for a better performance at Martinsville, one of those short tracks that he appears to be very well versed in. Bracken from 17th to 5th. Definitely good performance there. Good points showing as well. Thomas, Evans, Monaco, Austin, and Harvey round out your top 10. So Patrick Smith was denied that top 10 by Chris Harvey, actually. But yeah, 130 points compared to 142 and 150. Not too much of a gain for Monaco and Bracken, but as mentioned, every point counts at this point, even if it seems rather insignificant. And in some cases, it eventually does become that. Just got to grab it, you know? It's better than nothing. Trickle, Lego, Pepper, Ozkan, Reggie Fogelman, Wells, Burnett, Charlebois, and PK round out your top 20. Note that only 8 cars finished on the lead lap. Bottom 20 here. Taiki, Cropley, Samaya had a terrible day, unfortunately. Voiles, Shadowald, Zane, Sato, Flobo, White, Spurley, Hicks, Allen, Langestein, Jenkins, Jenna Fogelman, Ibrahimian, Salin, Whitlock, Johnson, and Franco. So yeah, Whitlock obviously finishing down much further than she started, so could have been on for a good race today, but unfortunately, yeah, was involved in that incident with Bob and Flobo, who ended up losing 2 positions himself. I don't even remember who turned Whitlock. Well, but take a look at your standings, and once again, I must be the bearer of bad news here. 5 races left in the season. Running the numbers here within high tolerance. Steve Morgan's out of the championship running, as are Thomas, Wells, Burnett, Reggie Fogelman. I believe we might have established that already, but only the top 13 can still mathematically win the championship now. And for them, it looks extremely unlikely. It was kind of hanging on. But, yeah, honestly, at this point, it's really going to be up to your top 6. Patrick Smith and Eric Monaco now tied in the points. Smith, the winner by tiebreak at present, thanks to his extra top 5s. But yeah, your points here. Let's compare second place with an extra 5 points to say, yeah, 11th, 130, 175 minus 130. That's only 45. So 45 times 5 is 225. Oh, clicked the wrong thing here. So honestly, yeah, it's even an ask, obviously, for the GOAT and to the people below him. To Ferrari Paris? What? Ferrari Paris? What is he saying? Wouldn't be a Hanafuda video without somebody trying to interrupt me in some way. Actually, we haven't really seen that at all this season, but there we go. Anyways, well, yeah, we'll get into your point standings, actually. Patrick Smith and Eric Monaco tied at 4,178 points, as mentioned, but Patrick Smith has 3 more top 5, so he would win on tiebreak there. The GOAT up into third, ahead of Christian Bracken, 255 points behind first and second there. Yeah, still a long way behind, but I mean, if he continues to put in those good performances, like we saw today, he could very well be a real contender by the finale. Samaya 5th, Davis 6th, Evans 7th, Harvey 8th, Trickle 9th, and Voiles 10th. Wolf, Brilliant, Özkan 11th, 12th, and 13th. Again, still mathematically capable, but very unlikely at this point to challenge Smith or Monaco there. Morgan out of the running, as are Thomas, Wells, Burnett, Reggie Fogelman, PK, and Tyke. Round out your top 20 here. Bottom 20 in the standings. Cropley, Shadowald, Langestein, Pepper, Flobo, Jana Fogelman, Austin, Zane, Higgs, Jenkins, Lego, Sal, Charlebois, Allen, Ibrahimi, and White, Sato, Whitlock, Johnson, and last place, of course, Franco. 11 wins for the GOAT, 3 for Samaya, 2 apiece, Smith, Monaco, and Pepper. Single-time winners, Bracken, Davis, Evans, Harvey, Wolf, Özkan, Tyke, Cropley, Shadowald, Lego, and Sevilla. So lots of different winners this season. But yeah, the GOAT's 11 wins. I mean, who's going to top that? As mentioned, Smith with 13 top 5s in 31 races. Not exactly the best ratio, but still respectable. The GOAT with 11, actually. That's rather surprising. Monaco, Evans, and Morgan all have 10. 0 top 5s for Whitlock, White, Jenkins, Hicks, Zane, and Jana Fogelman. And not surprisingly, they are 26th and lower in the standings. As for top 10s, Smith and Monaco both have 19. The GOAT and Evans have 16. Bracken, Davis, and Wolf have 14. Samaya and Voiles 13. Harvey, Trickle, Morgan 12. Özkan and Burnett 10. Yeah, Whitlock has 0 top 10s. Even Franco and Rocky Johnson have at least 1. Franco has 1. Rocky Johnson has 4. Well, that just gives you an indication of just how high and low that season has been. Yeah, only 2 drivers to not DNF were Martini and Sevilla. McGregor had 1. Whatever. Johnson with the most DNFs, that definitely explains it. 11. White with 9. Whitlock, Lego, Flobo, and Pepper with 8. Charlotte, Reggie Fogelman, Wells, Morgan, and the GOAT have 7. Of course, Morgan and the GOAT, yeah. Of course. But, yeah. I forgot to mention, all 40 drivers finished the race today. How about that? Laps completed is still Montero, Salin. The GOAT's probably going to have left sled in the bag. Whatever. Anyways, next race. 5th to last race here. The Subway 500 at the Paperclip, Martinsville in Virginia. It's been Hanafuda. It's been a time and a half, an honor. And I'll see you in the next video.